For a lot of fathers, one of the biggest questions they have when they're going through or navigating child custody is, what are the laws? What should I expect? And for that, we're going to have a look at this 2025 report. This report grades all 50 states and Washington, D.C. based on the strength of laws concerning shared parenting. Now, I've already put it on my author site. I'll put an image of that right up here, where I've already started to post helpful reports and resources like this, kind of like a repository for guys to help educate themselves. The link for this is below in the description. Now, this is published by the National Parents Organization, a nonprofit family law reform advocacy organization that's focused on protecting children's relationships with both parents. You may have seen the 2022 report that I did a few days ago. This one is a little bit different, and it's newer, of course. So this report evaluates how state custody statutes support or fail to support equal or shared custody in parenting. It also tracks major legislative changes since their previous reports, I believe in 2014 and 2019, and highlights states that have developed stronger shared parenting protections. It provides a state-by-state view of the legal framework that parents encounter when seeking to remain fully involved in their children's lives after separation or divorce. Now, real quick, before we have a look at it, let me just say that I'm not going to go into this. I forget exactly how many pages. It's close to 80 pages, I believe. My intention right here is just to give you the information, give you the resource, so that for those of you who need it or are simply interested in, you can have a closer dive yourself. So I'm not going to dive into this. This is not going to be a policy dive, a research dive. None of this is data driven. I just want to go over the resource and introduce it to you so that you have it as a resource if or when you need it. So let's go ahead and have a look right here. All right, so as I mentioned, this thing is in fact 78 pages long. I know that for those of you who are watching on a phone, this is going to be a little bit small on your screen. I apologize. But again, welcome to go get the link. Download a copy of this to have for yourself, and I'm just going to give some highlights here in what you can expect. So this is the cover of their 2025 report, and it's going to include a lot of the normal stuff that we would expect. We've got an executive summary here, trends over time, social science consensus, right? So there's some research that's stated in here. They're going to give us some public opinion consensus in a couple of pages here. We'll see some definitions that they'll give us. And on this page right here is just a summary of the letter grades. As I mentioned, they graded every state and the District of Columbia. How many received grades of A, B, C, D, and F. And yeah, as I expected, I think that this is a continuing report series report from 2014, 2019, and then again at this one that we're looking at, 2025, and the grades, this distribution over the years. And on this bottom part right here, they are showing us that since their last report in 2019, those states whose grades have improved. So that's right there. A few of them include Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Missouri, Tennessee, and a couple of others. So if you're in those states, congratulations, that's great. In fact, one of the things I did notice that was interesting is that in 2014, the average grade when they did this report for all 50 states was a D+. 5 years later, it was a C-. And now, just a year ago, in 2025, the average grade was a C. So collectively, throughout the United States, things look to be improving. That's really good. So they do give us information about their methodology, some of the limits. One of the things I really like in here as well is that they contextualize false allegations of family violence. So when those instances occur during custody and support during separation, divorce, I really like that they added this context in here. Wonderful. So as I mentioned, we got a little bit more methodology here. Let me skip down a little bit. There's a wealth of information in here for those of you who are interested. They give all of these citations, the references in here. Many of them, I assume you would at least be able to, at this point, get for free on Google Scholar or something like that. I didn't test all of them, but if you want to dive in and get some more of this information that they've cited here, again, a great resource. You know, I forgot to do this actually. I'll put this link in the description as well. This, just like the 2022 report that I mentioned a few days ago on a a slightly different topic. This one also has an interactive map. It's somewhat simple, but very quick and can be very helpful, in which you can click on the state or hover over the state. It will give you the grade for that state and then tell you why it got the grade that it did. So again, I'll leave a link on that. I'm not going to show it here. And then we've got their appendices. And here, I think, is where the very, very helpful and valuable information is for you guys. This goes through states alphabetically in Appendix C, starting with Alabama. It gives us links to everything that they're referring to here, the official codes and statutes, laws for each of these states. We can see, for example, here, Alabama has a grade of C-, which is just below the national average. I think if we looked at it just a moment ago, the average grade was a C. And then they're going to give us all of the positives and then as well as the negatives as to how they determined that grade for this state. And again, we see these embedded links right here. In fact, let me click on this one right here. And we can see that it takes us directly to the Alabama legislature information. So we can go through, we can read exactly what's in these. So if you are, again, going through this process, it's tough. It's really tough. And if some of this helps you make decisions, great. If it helps you go pro se into court, even better. This helpful information is wonderful for that purpose. So again, I'm not going to go through all of them. We see Alaska. Arizona's got an A+, I see there. Arkansas, an A-. In fact, let me find one that has a... All right, here. Florida has a grade of A. So again, as we can see, all of the links here, and then some of the positives in the state of Florida. Statutes emphasize a rebuttable presumption that equal time share of a minor child is in the best interest of the minor child. Florida statutes treat false allegations of abuse as a factor in custody decisions or provide for sanctions. Again, that is great information to know. So if you are accused of abuse and it turns out to be a false allegation, that will have a consequence when it comes to custody and visitation and your time with your child. I think it's one of the probably best factors that I've seen ever included in something like this. Too many times it's just ignored, and that's why women continue to get away with it. The only negative that they list for the state of Florida is that they do not explicitly provide for shared parenting during temporary orders. So yeah, there you have it. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Again, this is a great resource. Go download it. Get it for a friend and send it to him, or send him to the link. We probably all know somebody that's going through something like this. Let me know your thoughts. If you have any other report type resources that you would also like me to share and to discuss in a video, please let me know. I think that comprehensive reports and files like this can be really, really helpful. And I will do whatever I can to distribute it to other guys who really need it. Again, whether it's just links in videos or on my repository that I have started putting together on my author site, whatever I can do to help get information in the hands of guys that need it. So listen, thanks for watching this one. I'll see you soon.